I don't care what you think the rules are, and this fence is staying up.
Actually, the court disagrees.
This is an injunction.
The morning air bit like ice when the jackhammer started. My bedroom lit up with blue strobes from a rented truck. Diesel coughed. Asphalt smelled sharp, like burnt coffee. I stumbled outside in socks and saw a crew drilling post holes across my driveway, bright orange vests, a woman with a clipboard and a smirk. Karen, the HOA president, waved like I was late to my own disaster. "Your driveway encroaches on common area," she said over the noise. I pointed to the chalk line my dad and I poured in 2006. She pointed to a fresh map printed this week. By 9:00 a.m., they set rails, and a 15-foot wall of boards rose like a stage. I stood there, holding my cold mug, watching my life get fenced in. Here's the fight in one line. HOA built a 15-foot fence into my driveway. Then I filed the injunction. That's what this is about. Not just wood and nails. It's about control. The fence blocked my car. It blocked my trash bins. It blocked the small chalk hopscotch my niece drew on Saturday. Karen snapped photos like a tourist at a wreck. She said, "Fine starts at $200 a day for noncompliance." I asked, "Noncompliance with what?" She smiled like a cat and tapped her clipboard. "New policy, adopted last night." I checked my email. No notice, no agenda, no vote. Just a fence and her perfume floating in the cold shade that I tried to talk. I really did. I asked for the board. They were all suddenly busy. Ted looked at his shoes. Mia said, "Sorry, we can't discuss pending enforcement." The meeting door closed softly in my face. Neighbors watered plants and pretended their hoses were radios. Someone filmed through blinds. I left 3 voicemails and 2 polite emails. The only reply was an auto message at 7:14 p.m. requesting payment of a compliance fee. The next morning, Karen called the tow company to move my car, even though I was boxed in by her own fence. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. She told the officer I jumped the fence and threatened her. I didn't. I was inside making oatmeal. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. That was my line in the sand. No shouting. No late-night antics. I promised myself I'd use proper channels only. So I got busy. I hired a licensed surveyor for $640. I pulled the plat, the deed, and the easement recorded on May 3rd, 2024. I checked city codes. I found the fire access note someone pretended not to see. I called the clerk and requested every board email about my lot since January. When the public records drop came in, the file landed with 63 pages. I highlighted. I flagged. I smiled at the parts where Karen wrote driveway nuisance at 9:02 p.m. and then asked, "Can we rush the vote without notice?" Meanwhile, I measured the fence and marked each post with blue painter's tape. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. Here's the twist I set. I scheduled a driveway delivery for Saturday at 10:30 a.m. A mini moving truck. Nothing crazy. Right before that, I filed my petition at the courthouse with an emergency motion for an injunction and attached the survey, the easement, the fire lane spec, and a photo of the blocked trash pickup. The clerk stamped it in heavy ink. A judge signed a temporary order at 9:48 a.m. The deputy served it at the park gazebo, right as Karen started the HOA spring brunch. The papers fluttered like confetti. Someone said, "Wait, what?" The order said remove the encroaching portion of the fence immediately and cease enforcement pending hearing. The city inspector rolled up with his badge and a tape measure. He said, "Folks, this is a recorded access easement." The crew that built it returned, faces long, and unscrewed the shiny boards while the brunch quiche cooled in the wind. Neighbors came out. Phones everywhere. The sound of drills reversing screws was like applause. Someone yelled, "Karen, how's that clipboard doing?" Someone else laughed so hard they dropped a strawberry. The video hit the neighborhood Facebook by noon. Comments stacked. 1,500 views, then 3,000. People posted old messages of ignored repair requests. Mia typed, "I didn't vote for this." Ted wrote, "I felt pressured." A guy from the next street said, "Been quiet here since the restriping threat." My niece drew a new hopscotch beside the retreating fence and numbered each square after the board members. A car honked in rhythm when the last illegal panel came free. The tow truck driver shrugged at the order and left with his hook empty. Karen tried to say this was harassment. Everyone just kept filming. Authority flipped like a pancake. The inspector wrote the violation. The judge set a hearing for May 14th at 8:30 a.m. I walked in with my binder and a calm face. Karen came with a stack of printouts and a glare. I kept it simple. I showed the stamped plat. I showed the survey. I played a voicemail where she ordered the fence first, vote later. My lawyer only spoke twice. The board counsel tripped over a timeline that didn't exist because they'd made it up. The judge looked over his glasses, then asked about notice rules and the fire lane. He shook his head. Injunction made permanent. Fees shifted. The HOA was ordered to pay my costs and restore access within 5 business days. The courtroom door clicked. It sounded like a book closing on a bad chapter. Afterward, the street felt warm again. No more diesel cough. No more night knocks. The board held an emergency meeting. Karen resigned at 6:11 p.m., citing stress and family time. The treasurer announced they'd reimburse me $2,300 and post agendas 7 days ahead, with mailed notice. They logged 5 formal complaints against Karen, with 2 upheld. The fence company patched the strip of torn asphalt and left it smooth. Kids chalked a rainbow across the exact spot where the fence had stood. On Sunday, we held a little driveway potluck. I set out paper cups and lemonade. Ted helped hang string lights. Mia brought cookies and said, "I'm sorry we didn't back you up sooner." I said, "We're neighbors. We learn." Then I parked my car in my own driveway, and it felt like a small parade. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.